Man, Shalom to the elect of the nation of Israel. First and foremost, I'd like to start this video by giving all praises, honor, and glory to the Heavenly Father and His only begotten Son, Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Mecha, Kodash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who rule well and taught us this 100% truth. Salutations unto the 144,000 doing the work of the Lord in all truth, honor, and sincerity, and shalom to the 1/3, men, women, and children who believe in this word being taught unto them. Shabbat, I'm Nawa Allah, back at you with another lesson entitled Finnish MPs to Start Training Exercises in Underground Bunkers. So in case you don't know, the Finnish people are the people of Finland, which is a European country. This article was published 2 days ago from the time of doing this video. Today's the 13th of October. This was published on the 11th of October. So this goes to show we are in those times, man. Okay. It says Finnish MPs are set to start training exercises in an underground bunker next month, citing a supposed threat from Russia. Now, before I continue, we know by way of prophecy that the nukes, in terms of that, the prophetic order of things, we know that the nukes won't go flying until the MOTB is made mandatory, in which they are taking steps to advance to that point, with this whole digital ID thing. Now, don't get it twisted. The digital ID is not the MOTB. I repeat, the digital ID is not the MOTB. However, it is a prelude to the MOTB spoken of in Revelation 13 and 16. Okay. So it says, even though Moscow has repeatedly denied having hostile intentions towards NATO and EU or EU countries, hold on a minute, well, aren't they at war with Poland at the moment, which is a NATO country? But they're keeping that one quiet because they know that they're now subject to Article 5. They're now subject to Article 5, which would mean that which is basically an attack against one NATO country is an attack against all, and they'd have to retaliate. So they're keeping, they're just shoving that under the carpet. And funnily enough, have a look at this. I didn't even notice this when I was reading this article. It says Russia unveils images of terrifying, unstoppable Satan II ICBM. Although this was published 9 years ago. All right. This is very relevant. So, I mean, let's just have a quick look over here. Just because it came up and I noticed this. So let's just have a quick look. The first images of Russia's ICBM, which is intercontinental ballistic missile, set to replace the Satan missile, have been unveiled by the Makeyev rocket design bureau. So the RS-28 Sama, dubbed Satan II, what a name for a missile, right? By NATO, is a super heavy thermonuclear armed intercontinental ballistic missile capable of avoiding anti-missile defenses with a hypersonic glider warhead. So this thing moves, man. It says the weapon of mass destruction is 2,000 times more powerful than the little boy bomb dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki in 1945, which that was an atomic bomb, and that caused great destruction. But this is saying that this Satan II missile is 2,000 times more powerful, man. And this is one of the missiles that's going to be used against the West or against America in World War III. It says it can make the concept of nuclear deterrence obsolete and pave the way for first strike use of nuclear weapons in a conflict. So I don't want to get too much into it. I just want to see if there's anything So I can just extrapolate from it. But yeah, I mean that's pretty much the point on that, man. This weapon is 2,000 times more powerful than Little Boy. The name of that bomb that was dropped in Hiroshima and Nagasaki back in 45. All right. So, and it's actually been said that all it would take is for two Satan II missiles to be launched, and that could completely destroy America's 5,000 square foot miles of land. All right, with just two Satan II missiles. Now, when you go to the prophecies, so I just have to get up a minute. So remembering that it's been calculated that all it will take is two Satan II missiles, right? And that could end America. When you go into the prophecies, Revelation 9 and 16. We can start at 15, right? It says, and the four angels were loosed, which were prepared for an hour and a day and a month and a year, for to slay the third part of men, because you got the sons of the wicked, so you got the sons of God, you got the sons of men, and you got the sons of the wicked. So that third part of men will be the sons of the wicked, which will be you Edomites, you so-called white people. However, amongst them, you're gonna have sons of men killed. You're even gonna have 2/3 of the sons of God killed, or I mean, destroyed. All right, and that's men and women, by the way. 16, and the number of the army of the horsemen were 200,000, and I heard the number of them. So this is actually talking about the nuclear missiles. So there's, because within the missile, you have multiple warheads, and the number of them in total is 200 million, man. Okay, so this is what's getting ready to happen. All right. So I mean, if it's been calculated, it would only take two Satan II missiles to destroy America. What do you think 200 million is going to do? All right. So that's why wow. That's why Hebrews 10 and 31 says it is a fearful thing to fall into the hands of the living power. And I just thought, out of curiosity, let me go to the chat and ask for the breakdown to Revelation 9 and 16. Because you see, if a Christian was to read that, they're gonna take it as literal horse and chariot, you know, and there's 200 million of them, right? But not understanding that the horse represents power, and these ICBMs, these nuclear ICBMs, are very powerful weapons of mass destruction. All right, so the chat actually got it on point. So let's read it. It says this verse is part of the sixth trumpet judgment during the opening of the sixth seal, and it's describing a massive army released as part of the Most High's judgment. Let's break it into parts. The the number of the army of the horsemen. This army is symbolic of destructive power. While some interpret this as a literal military force, them Christians would definitely interpret it as that. Through the lens of prophecy and symbolism, wow, this refers to nuclear missiles or advanced weapons of war. Horsemen in ancient times symbolized war and military strength. In prophetic terms, horsemen equals weapons of destruction, specifically missiles in end time prophecies. All right. Precept Jeremiah 25 and 33, and the slain of the Lord shall be at that day from one end of the earth even unto the other end of the earth. Because there's going to be a great slaughter that these nuclear missiles are going to bring, man. Okay? And the heaven departed as a scroll when it is rolled together. Wow. Look at that. Mushroom cloud imagery from nukes. Look at that. Revelation 6 and 14. Beautiful. So I haven't even got into the article yet. Damn. It's the spirit, man. 200,000. That's 200 million. This number is not necessarily a literal head count of soldiers, but represents the sheer massive scale of destruction being described. It aligns with the mass number of missiles or warheads prepared for the great day of the Lord, World War III. Now, let me just stop there, because what I've noticed now on the social media is you've got people out there querying, because the new joke is, oh yeah, conspiracy theorists are up 10-0 now, because the times that we're excuse me, the times that we're in now, conspiracy theorists, so-called conspiracy theorists, were speaking of these things, right? And people, of course, didn't believe, they disregarded it. You know how it goes, right? But now it's like, hey, as the scriptures say, it's being made plain upon tables. Okay? So now you've got people asking the so-called conspiracy theorists what's next, what to anticipate next. And it, in all, like, honesty, man, it's not looking good, bruv. It's not looking good. Because this is what's next. Okay, what we're reading about here, all right, which is why you've got the Finnish MPs. Let's go back to this real quick. Just why you've got the Finnish MPs starting to do training exercises in underground bunkers because of what's next, what's to come, what's lined up in terms of biblical prophecy. Okay, so let's go back to here. Why missiles? Missiles are often referred to in symbolic language in prophetic books like Joel, Isaiah, Revelation, and 2nd Esdras. The prophets use ancient terms, arrows, horsemen, fire, brimstone, to describe futuristic technology. Yeah, because, I mean, these prophecies were written, thousands of years ago. And, they didn't have modern day terminology. It's just like you're not going to find iOS update in the scriptures, or iPhone, or a car in the scriptures, or a bus. These were not things that were known of back then. So they had to use ancient day terminology to describe futuristic technology. Okay. Precept Joel 2 and 7 to 8. They shall not break their ranks, neither shall one thrust another. They shall run upon a wall, missile flight paths. Yeah, exactly. They ain't going hit each other, man. Right, the spirit of the Lord is actually going to be in those missiles, so they're going to hit their targets, man. Jeremiah 50 and 9. Their arrows, which the elder apostles were going into Jeremiah 50 at the last camp that they had. All right, their arrows shall be as of a mighty expert man, none shall return in vain. Yeah, because they're gonna hit them targets, man. They ain't gonna hit each other. They're gonna hit exactly where they're intended to hit. Okay. And I heard the number of them. John isn't estimating, he hears the exact number, 200 million. This emphasizes the certainty and scale of the prophetic destruction. Because, a lot of other lands will also be hit with the ICBMs, namely Israel. Israel is going to be completely destroyed as well. Israel and America is going to be completely destroyed in World War III. The only difference between Israel and America is that America won't be inhabited. It ain't going to be built up again. Read Isaiah 34. It's going to become a place for devils to dwell, desert-like creatures. And that's going to be a staple monument in the kingdom of heaven, of where we, the Israelites, served our worst captivity. And also an example of what happens when you rule a society or a world in wickedness. That's the reward. But Israel is also gonna, fire is also a very good cleansing agent. So the Most High is going to use that nuclear fire to destroy the land of Israel, because you've got the biggest, Batty Man community parade there, in Tel Aviv. So that place is defiled. It needs to be cleansed, and the Most High is using fire as that cleansing agent. So, this is what's on the cards, man. This is what's next, what's lined up in terms of prophecy. Okay. As I quoted earlier, Hebrews 10:31, it is a fearful thing to fall into the hands of the living power, man. All right. So just keep reading. This line confirms it's not allegorical or poetic exaggeration. This is what was revealed to the prophet. Okay. Summary. Revelation 9:16 is a prophetic vision of the massive destructive military force that will be unleashed in the last days, specifically pointing towards nuclear destruction in World War III, orchestrated by Yahweh as judgment on Babylon the Great, America, wow, and the wicked of the earth. See, chat knows, man. You Christians need to speak to the chat, man. All right. Symbolism recap: horsemen, missiles, war machines. 200 million equals vast number of weapons prepared. Heard the number. Divine confirmation, not guesswork. Amazing. Supporting precepts, Isaiah 13. Yep. Joel 2, 216. Yep. Of course, Revelation 9 again as well. Let's see. Let's see if it will break down Isaiah 54. And is it 16 or is it 17? Let me just quickly double check that 1 minute. Just quickly double check. I believe it's 16. Just to have a look. Yep. Where are we? Here we are. All right. So let's see what it says for Isaiah 54 and 16. And let's read the precept here real quick. It says, Behold, I have created the smith that bloweth the coals on the fire, and that bringeth forth an instrument for his work. And I have created the waster to destroy. All right. So this is going into the scientists that create these weapons of mass destruction. You had that film Oppenheimer. He quoted that what was it, Indian proverb? I become as death, the destroyer of worlds. When they made that atomic bomb, now it's moved over to nuclear bombs. All right. So yeah, here you go. See, behold, I've created the smith. The smith equals we'll get to the article as well. Doing a little spiritual detour. All right. Symbolic of scientists, engineers, or weapon makers. In ancient time, a smith was someone who worked with fire and metal to craft weapons. Spiritually, this refers to modern day weapons scientists like those who created nuclear bombs, e.g., the Manhattan Project. The Most High says He created them, meaning Yahweh gave them knowledge and ability to make these weapons for His purpose. Wow. Proverbs 21:30, there is no wisdom, no understanding, no counsel against the Lord. And Proverbs 20:24, a man's goings of the Lord, how can a man then understand his own way? That bloweth coals in the fire. This is metaphorical imagery of the weapon development process, the heat, the fire, the refining, like developing nuclear warheads through atomic energy and intense heat. It shows the creation process of the instrument, the destructive weapon, and that bringeth forth an instrument for his work. The instrument is the missile or nuclear bomb. See, hey man, the body of how for putting your spirit, man, on our elder apostles, the elder apostles of great millstone to 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 break down these prophecies, right, man. All right. Beginning with our elder apostles, man, we got the 100% truth. Okay. The instrument is the missile or nuclear bomb. It's for his work, Yahweh's work of judgment and destruction. These weapons aren't created for defense or show. They were made to fulfill prophecy and bring the destruction of Babylon, America, and the wicked. Precept Isaiah 13:5, the weapons of his indignation to destroy the whole land. All right, America. Isaiah 34:8, for it is the day of the Lord's vengeance and the year of recompenses for the controversy of Zion. Right. And I've created the waster to destroy. The waster, the missile itself, on point. So you Christians, man, you go hit the chat. To destroy, the purpose is clear. Yahweh made the missile to bring destruction. He put the thought into the minds of the scientists, created the circumstances for their work, and set it up to fulfill prophecy. They shall, we read that earlier, Joel 2:7, and also 2 Ezra 16:13. His arrows that shooteth are sharp and shall not miss. Says Isaiah 54:16 is a direct prophecy about creation of modern weapons of mass destruction, especially nuclear missiles. The Smith equals the weapons scientist. For example, those in the Manhattan Project, the instrument, the missile or nuclear warhead, the waster, the actual weapon Yahweh made to destroy Babylon, America, and the wicked, and judge the wicked. Purpose equals, it's not a random war, but it's Yahweh's divine judgment. Okay? Now I wanna let me Salakia, man. Now that chat's got me on a roll. We'll get back to the article, but I just want to find out. Let me ask this. We'll see what it says. So I said, will nuclear war take place before or after Revelation 13 and 16? Which of course that's the mandating of the MOTB. All right. So just give me a second, Salakia. Just 1 minute. I'm gonna just have to pause this real quick and come back. Just bear with me a minute. All right, yeah, I'm back. So let's see what the chat says. It says excellent and important question, Ark. And I like it when it gives me more like Hebrew Israelite tailored answers. So I kind of you got to learn to probe chat in the right direction. So I give it a little bit of the Hebrew, and then it kind of understands what angle to answer the questions at, man. So it says, let's break it down biblically and chronologically to understand where the nuclear war, World War III, happens before or after Revelation 13 and 16, which speaks about the MOTB. So I'll just read it real quick. Revelation 13 and 16, and he calls us all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. This mark refers to the MOTB. Which, hey, man, I didn't even say the MOTB. See, hey, man, again, double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, man. Hey, we famous, brothers. We global. Hey, well, Apostle Paul said in 1 Corinthians 4:9 that we shall be a spectacle on the earth, man. Everyone knows about the Hebrew Israelites. Don't be fooled because you get no views, 1 view, 5 views, whatever, man. Everyone knows about the Hebrew Israelites, man. It refers to it called it the MOTB. Who did we hear that from first, man? Our elder apostles, man. All right. Which, brothers say the word, but man, I still refrain from saying it. But you see what it says here. All right, that's what the MOTB is, in case you don't know. Just look on the screen. If you're just listening to the video, look on the screen. I've highlighted what the MOTB is. It says, often understood by camps and students of prophecy as a physical implant or digital tag. Example, a micro C-hip or similar tech that's part of a global system of control, economic, medical, and spiritual. Wow. So a nuclear war happened before or after this is implemented. All right. And it says here, bear with me a minute. So like the little one just woke up, so just had to put her back down. So yeah, where was we? So will nuclear war happen before or after this is implemented? The answer is nuclear war will happen after Revelation 13 and 16 is fulfilled. So so as it says here in this article, Finnish MPs are set to start training exercises in an underground bunker next month, citing a supposed threat from Russia. So Russia ain't going to be firing no nukes at Finland until after this MOTB has been made mandatory. All right. Why? Let's go precept upon precept. It says the MOTB system must come first. And we are seeing steps advancing to that being able to come to pass. All right. Esau, Eden, remember they do gradualism. So the implementation of the mandatory digital ID is a step closer to the MOTB being brought forth. Okay. No man might buy or sell save he that had the mark. This prophecy shows that there will be a period of total economic control where you won't be able to buy or sell unless you accept the mark. And Keir Starmer slipped up the other day where he actually said that you will need the digital ID in order for you to access your funds. He did say that. He did slip up. Okay. It says that means this system has to be in place and enforced worldwide before the destruction. And this digital ID thing is being implemented across various different countries, not just here in the UK. Okay. Judgment comes after the mark is offered. Once the mark is rolled out and people make their choice, accept or refuse, then comes the judgment. Revelation 14 and 9 to 10. If any man worship the beast in his image and receive his mark, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of the Most High. The wrath equals missiles and destruction. The judgment is for those who took the mark. So that means there's no you taking the mark and then you get a pair of tweezers and you pull them out. That means the mark must exist first, so people can choose. How you actually need to get with the chat, man. The destruction of Babylon comes after the mark system is enforced. Revelation 18 and 8 to 10. Therefore shall her plagues come in one day. She shall be utterly burned with fire, standing afar off for the fear of her torment. The burning with fire equals nuclear destruction of Babylon the Great America. Yep. This is the final judgment, and it happens after the mark is in full swing and people are sealed, either with the MOTB or the seal of Yahweh. This is Revelation 7 and 3. Really, it could have also put Ezekiel 9 and 4. All right, that because those of us who would like to be with the elect, we want to receive a different mark, the Thawah, the mark of exemption, exempt from judgment. Timeline summary. Here's the chronological order of major prophetic events based on scripture. Jacob's trouble begins, and we're at the beginning stages of Jacob's trouble. MOTV system is implemented. Again, we're at the beginning stages of that through the digital ID. Worldwide temptation to take the mark. Can't buy or sell. Can't pay your bills. Can't put food in the fridge. Can't get a drink, whatever. That's the temptation. Some Israelites are sealed with the Most High's name. That, it's in Revelation 7 and 3, which, that chapter goes into the elect. Or you can bring out Ezekiel 9, that mark of exemption, Thawah. 2/3 are judged for disobedient. Zechariah 13 and 8, that's pertaining to the land of America specifically. Nuclear war begins. / Babylon is destroyed. Yep, Revelation 18, 2nd Ezra 16. Yahushua returns with the angels. Yeah, could have put Revelation 1 and 7 there as well. Elder Apostle Gabar's favorite, Matthew 24 and 30. And of course, Revelation 19 as well. So it said, what should we do? Well, first of all, you are, you're not a person, my friend. Maybe we should put some fringes on Chat GPT, man. But what should we do as a hopeful elect? It says we must be spiritually and mentally prepared to resist the mark, even if that means suffering, going off grid, or losing everything in this world. Yep. Revelation 2 and 10, be thou faithful unto death, and I will give thee a crown of life. Isaiah 33 and 6, wisdom and knowledge shall be stability of thy times. Final answer, the MOTB, Revelation 13 and 16 must be fully implemented and enforced before the nuclear war and destruction. Revelation 18, that's how the righteous and the wicked are separated by who takes the mark versus who remains faithful to Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. Beautiful. So there you have it, man. Did a little spiritual detour, but there you have it. Lord willing, it was edifying. So let's go back to this. It says, even though Moscow has repeatedly denied having hostile intentions toward NATO or EU countries, the lawmakers will conduct underground training exercises to practice working in wartime conditions, according to local media reports. Russian Time reports, First Deputy Speaker of the Finnish Parliament, Paula Risikko, told the outlet Utisio Malainen that the upcoming exercise will be the first of its kind, is being prompted by the changed security situation amid the conflict in Ukraine. The shelter where the exercise will be held is located in the basement of the Parliament building, Risikko said. The facilities include an emergency session hall where lawmakers could meet in exceptional circumstances such as wartime. These things are imminent. All right. The drill is scheduled to take place in November, with the exact date being announced later, according to the outlet. Finnish lawmakers will conduct underground training exercises next month to practice working in wartime conditions, local media have reported. Western officials have become increasingly alarmist. I probably reckon it meant to say alarmed over what they describe as a threat from Russia. Moscow has repeatedly denied having hostile intentions towards NATO or EU countries. Right. First Deputy Speaker of Finnish Parliament, Paula Risico told the outlet, I won't bother saying it again, that the upcoming exercise, which will be the first of its kind, is being prompted by the change security situation amid the conflict in Ukraine. Did I not just read that? Yeah, it did repeat. So the people's voice be bugging sometimes, man. Speaking at the Valdai discussion club earlier this month, Russian President Vladimir Putin described the recent accession by Finland and Sweden to NATO as foolish, stressing that Moscow has never had any issues with either country and had long maintained friendly relations with both. He noted that the two Nordic states had lost the benefits of their neutral status by joining the US-led bloc, and said the decision had needlessly undermined regional stability without enhancing their security. Putin lamented the fact that Russia has been forced to establish a new military district in response to Finland and Sweden joining NATO, and dismissed Zelensky's assurances that it would not host weapons dangerous to Russia, suggesting that NATO's leadership would likely make such decisions without consulting member states. So, it's all lies and smoke and mirrors, man. Of course they will host weapons. Because, if you look on the map, yeah, where Finland is, it's strategic to kind of moving, man. 1 minute. Oh, hold on, that's why. It's strategic to have, weapons of mass destructions over there at Finland, because look how close it is to Russia. All right, so the nuclear destruction is it's definite. It definitely will be taking place. It's not a matter of if, it's more so a matter of when. All right. Ezekiel 7:5. Thus saith the Lord Yahweh, an evil and only evil, behold, is come. An end is come, the end is come. It watcheth for thee, behold, it is come. All right. This is the end of Esau, Edom's age that we're talking about here. The morning is come unto thee, O thou that dwellest in the land. The time is come, the day of trouble is near, and not the sound again of the mountains. So, that time of trouble is imminent, man. All right. There's nothing that can be excuse me. There's nothing that can be done to turn the hands of time to prevent this from happening. 25 says, destruction cometh, they shall seek peace, and there shall be none. All right. Mischief shall come upon mischief, and rumor shall be upon rumor. They shall seek a vision of the prophet, but the law shall perish from the priest and counsel from the ancient. So this is why, man, scripture says to seek the Lord while he may be found and call upon him while he is near. It also says to make no tarrying, to return unto the Lord and put not off from day to day, for suddenly shall his wrath come forth. Because, the times that we're heading into, you're going to have guys searching to and fro for the prophets, the same guys that they mocked and they scoffed and they disregarded. They're then going to be looking for those same people, man. All right. But, when you go to, what's that, Ezekiel 3 and 26, I believe. What does it say? It says, and I will make thy tongue cleave to the roof of thy mouth, that thou shalt be dumb, and shall not be to them a reprover, for they are a rebellious house. So the Most High is going to make our the tongue cleave to the roof of our mouths, meaning that we ain't going to say nothing. But once the time has come for there to, the end of preaching and prophesying, you're going to be asking, oh, what was the name of the Lord again? Or all of that stuff. And we ain't going to say nothing to you, man, because the time to remember Yahweh Shem Yahshai is now. Ecclesiastes 12, remember thy creator in the days of thy youth, while the evil days come not. You're meant to remember the Lord whilst the evil days come not once the evil days are here and then you trying to seek the Lord, man. Now is the time to seek the Lord. Okay? Because shit's about to get real. You know, it tells us in Malachi 4:1, for behold, the day cometh that shall burn as an oven, and all the proud, yea, and all that do wickedly shall be stubble, and the day that cometh shall burn them up, saith the Lord of hosts, that it shall leave them neither root nor branch. Meaning they ain't gonna be able to rebuild their system from anything, man. They ain't gonna be left no root nor branch. Their system's gonna be completely destroyed, and they're getting ready to go into captivity. Okay. What does it tell us in 2 Peter 3:10? It says, but the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night, when you least expect it, in the which the heavens shall pass away with a great noise, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. The earth also and the works that are therein shall be burned up. Okay? And this is why you got these Finnish MPs doing what do they call it? Training exercises in underground bunkers, man. For when that time comes, which is imminent, might I add. Verse 11, seeing then that all these things shall be dissolved, what manner of persons ought ye to be in all holy conversation and godliness, which is what we do when we do these lessons, when we do the sit downs, when we link up with the Arkham, and we talk spiritual things, when we go out on the highways and the byways, you know. Verse 12, looking for and hastening unto the coming of the day of the Most High, wherein the heavens being on fire shall be dissolved, and the enemies and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. Okay, that's what's getting ready to happen. Remember, the article said how the Satan II missile is 2,000 times more powerful than the Little Boy missile that was shot, the atomic bomb that was shot back in 1945 on Hiroshima and Nagasaki in Japan. All right, which they ain't forgotten about it. Amen, which are the Japanese, they still want to get their revenge on America. All right, and now's the time for that. Verse 13, nevertheless, we according to his promise look for new heavens and a new earth, wherein dwelleth righteousness, which is the kingdom of heaven, which is going to be established down here on earth, where where righteousness will dwell. Because right now, wickedness is what dwells here, because according to Job 9:24, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. All right. So Isaiah chapter 2 and verse 17, and the loftiness of man shall be bowed down, and the haughtiness of men shall be made low, and the Lord alone shall be exalted in that day. Not no Allah, not no Buddha, not no Jesus Christ, but Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. And the idols he shall utterly abolish, and they shall go into the holes of the rocks, and into the caves of the earth, for fear of the Lord and for the glory of his majesty, where he ariseth to shake terribly the earth. So that's what these Finnish MPs were doing, man. They're rehearsing these nuclear bunker drills, going into the holes of the rocks, the caves of the earth, or just underneath, you know, to try and escape the judgment of the Lord. Okay. This is verse 20. In that day a man shall cast his idols of silver and his idols of gold, which they made each one for himself to worship, to the moles and to the bats. Yeah, man, because your money ain't going to save you. Proverbs 11:4, riches profit not in the day of wrath, but righteousness deliver from death. And just any idols in general, man, you know, you're going to cast away those idols, because you're going to realize there ain't no power in those idols. Just to go into the clefts of the rocks, and into the tops of the ragged rocks, for fear of the Lord, and for the glory of his majesty, where he ariseth to shake terribly the earth. Cease you from man whose breath is in his nostrils, for wherein is he to be accounted of? Yeah, man, because ultimately they ain't seeking Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. They're seeking to save their own selves, man. When the elect know and understand that we can't save ourselves, man. We need that standard to be lifted. We need Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai to intervene. Okay. Revelation 6 and 12, the sixth seal, terror. And I beheld when he had opened the sixth seal, and lo, there was a great earthquake, and the sun became black as sackcloth of hair, and the moon became as blood. We've been seeing many blood moons, which represents judgment, war, mass death, destruction. And I saw one on Friday last week as well, only for a couple of seconds. You know, and it looked like really low and defined and just red. You know, I was driving at the time, and I guess the road was at a certain angle, so I was able to see it. And then the car, I had to turn the car the other way and stuff, and then I didn't see it again. And by the time I saw the moon again, probably like half an hour later, it was just normal, just white again. You know. Verse 13, and the stars of heaven fell upon the earth, which these are talking about the nuclear missiles. The Christians will have you think that the stars are just going to fall from heaven. Even as a fig tree casteth her untimely figs, when she is shaken of a mighty wind. All right, symbolically speaking, man. Them stars from heaven, nuclear missiles, are going to fall from the skies, man, because they're shot upwards and then they come back down. The warheads come out the silo and they go to their targets. All right. And the heaven departed as a scroll when it is rolled together. Every mountain and island were moved out of their places. Yeah, the nuclear missiles hitting ground zero. And, that mushroom cloud, right? 15, and the kings of the earth, all right? And the great men and the rich men and the chief captains and the mighty men and every bondman and every free man hid themselves in the dens and in the rocks of the mountains, and said to the mountains and rocks, fall on us, and hide us from the face of him that sitteth on the throne, Yahweh, and from the wrath of the Lamb, Yahweh Shai. For the great day of his wrath is come, and who shall be able to stand? And the question is, no one. All right. That's why we, Abaratazar, we be of the elect. Because if we be of the elect, we ain't gonna face that judgment. We're gonna fall under Revelation 15, which I might stick that in the chat. Revelation 15 and 1. Read the points in 2, but I'll just read it anyway. And I saw another sign in heaven, great and marvelous, 7 angels having the 7 last plagues, for in them is filled up the wrath of the Most High. And I saw, as it were, a sea of glass mingled with fire, and them that had gotten victory over the beast, and over his image, and over his mark, and over the number of his name, stand on the sea of glass, having the harps of the Most High. Because basically, we're going to be in that chariot with Yahweh Shai, Lord willing, we be of the elect. And, it's going to be above the ozone layer, or the firmament, which is what it's talking about when it says the sea of glass mingled with fire, because beneath the firmament is going to be that's the great fiery destruction of World War III, and we're of course going to be above the Earth's atmosphere, so above the firmament, looking down on that sea of glass mingled with fire in Yahweh Shai's chariot, man. All right, so let's go back to the chat and let's see what it says for Revelation 15 and 2. I'm gonna close out, man. Let's have a look, man. Let's see. Okay, good start. Sea of glass. The firmament, our outer atmosphere, from a perspective of above the earth. Wow. Listen, man, you Christians need to hit the chat, man. You Christians need to hit the chat, bro. It says the elect are looking down on the destruction of Babylon from the chariots, so-called UFOs. Okay? It looks like a sea of glass because they're high above the earth, seeing the curvature and atmosphere mingled with fire, the nuclear destruction taking place below. This connects with Revelation 18 and 2 Esdras 15 and 16, where Babylon, America, is judged with fire. All right, come up hither. Revelation 11 and 12, and that's going to be said in the Lashawan Kodash. The heavens departed as a scroll. We read that in Revelation 6. The righteous shall scarcely be saved. Absolutely. 1 Peter 4 and 18. And them that have gotten victory over the beast, these are the elect. Wow. The 144,000 and great multitude, Revelation 7, who overcame the beast, which equals the system, Esau Edom's global empire, headed by Babylon or USA, America, the image of the beast, the philosophies, lifestyles, and institutions that mirror ancient Rome. Wow. Democracy, Libiquita, false Christianity, etc. They didn't conform to the system, yet the elect. Romans 12 and 2, be not conformed to this world. Revelation 3 and 12, he that overcometh, I'll make a pillar. Revelation 12 and 11, they love not their lives unto the death, because we catch in hell, man. All right, we catch in hell, and really the hell was making us desire salvation even more. Imagine if we was living the sweet life of Zach and Cody and we had this truth, then we wouldn't be too bothered about when the end is gonna come. But because we catch in hell, we it makes us want to get out of here even more. Okay. And over his mark of the, I almost said MOTB, understood as a physical mark likely tied to a digital tracking or control system. For example, the micro C-hip, the elects refused it even under persecution or threat of death. All right. They brought out the precepts earlier as well. Revelation 14 and 9 to 10 and Revelation 3 and 10. The number of his name, this ties to Revelation 13 and 18, 666, which symbolizes man's rule under Satan, imperfection, and rebellion against the Most High. The elect overcame every part of the beast system, the politics, the religion, the economy, and the MOTB system. Stand on the sea of glass, having the harps of the Most High. This symbolizes the elect delivered in the chariots, watching Babylon burn. Below, the mingled with fire part, harps, symbolic of rejoicing, peace, and praise, not literal musical instruments. I mean, we're going to be rejoicing, boy, trust me. They're singing the song of Moses and the Lamb, Revelation 15 and 3, which is victory over oppression, just like when Israel escaped Egypt. And this is modern day Egypt. So, there's no new thing under the sun. All right. Psalms 91 and 8, only with thine eyes shalt thou behold and see the reward of the wicked. Psalms 149 and 1, sing unto the Lord a new song. And there's many other psalms as well that say the same thing as well, to sing unto the Lord a new song, which we're singing that new song now, all right, of our salvation and destruction of this wicked kingdom. Psalms 98 is another one that comes to mind that says sing unto the Lord a new song. And in Revelation 14, it tells you how no one can learn that song except for the elect, all right? So summary, Revelation 15 and 2 is a vision of the elect who overcame the beast, refused the MOTB, and were delivered by Yahushua into the chariots, watching the destruction of Babylon below. Sea of glass equals the firmament, sky from inside the chariots, mingled with fire, nuclear destruction on the earth, victory, overcoming the beast, its image, mark, and number, harps, rejoicing in the spirit, singing praises to Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. Final thought, this verse is hope and motivation, a glimpse of the reward for endurance and obedience. The elect didn't bow down to the system, and they received salvation and glory. Well, I was actually going to close out on this as well, but it's brought out anyway. It's the spirit, Matthew 24 and 13. He that endureth to the end, the same shall be saved. So there you have it, man. There you have it. These are the times that are imminent. You got those, you got the people out there asking, the so-called conspiracy theorists. So what's next? Well, this is what's next. The MOTB, Jacob's Trouble, World War III. All right. So yeah, I'm going to wrap it up here for this video. I pray, Lord willing, it's been edifying. Until the next time, I say shalom. Stay up, stay strong.